Alberta Institute for Wildlife Conservation is a wildlife hospital dedicated to rehabilitating and releasing injured and orphaned wildlife, and we're located just northwest of Calgary. Like all the wildlife centres in the province, there's 7 of us. We're not funded by the government, so we rely solely on corporate donations and private donations to operate. Typically, on average, we see over 135 different species, and of that, 75 to 78% are birds, so that can be anything from eagles to coots to mallards to swans, and then the rest would be mammals.
I am a wildlife rehabber, so that means that I kind of have this really interesting job that sits somewhere between somebody who does all the animal husbandry, so the cleaning and the feeding and taking care of the animals, as well as assisting with the medical treatment, so exams, surgeries, help carrying out treatment plans that the veterinarian designs. So I kind of get to do a ton of stuff. I first started 3 summers ago back as an intern, and after my last year of school I came back on as a full-time rehabber here at AIWC.
I'm most proud of at AIWC that we have a 52% success rate. That is huge. The national average success rate for patients in the country is 33%, and I'm really proud that in the last couple of years we've designed and built 5 new enclosures, which is huge. We are also the only centre in the province to have a veterinarian part-time on site too, which has made a huge difference to our success rate for our patients. And in addition to that, we have over 125 volunteers that volunteer with us throughout the year, but we always need more.
We never give the animal names because wildlife are not pets. They should not be pets and they shouldn't be treated as pets, and it's really more out of a respect for their wildness itself to not give the animal names and respect it as its own individual.
We have a veterinarian on staff who teaches us the basics of what we need to know to do when she's not here, such as bandage changes and wing wraps. Probably my most memorable experience is when we get in someone who's like extremely injured and has a really poor prognosis, and having the chance to release them is probably the most memorable.
The release of our patients is definitely the most rewarding, but it's hard too, especially for patients that have been with us for longer term. We obviously want them to go back to the wild and do really well, but there's always that worry of, well, how well will they do in the wild? Have we done everything we could have done to, promote their success in the wild? So it's mixed emotions, definitely bittersweet, but overall we're really happy that they do go back into the wild, because that means that we've done our job the way that we needed to.
This is a striped skunk.
So he came to us with a spinal injury. He was trapped in like underneath a deck, and he couldn't get out. And because he had been there for several days stuck, he had so much inflammation on his spine and wasn't able to use his back legs. It's amazing, actually. This is probably one of the most rewarding cases I've seen, because we were very close to potentially euthanizing him because he was in such a bad state where he couldn't walk. It'll be very rewarding to let this guy go when he's ready.
Success for me, for AIWC, is different depending on the day. Some days, if I get through the day and got everything done, that's a success. Even just being open every day is huge for us. We're a small non-profit. Our funding is very limited, and we do a lot with what we have. The biggest challenge that AIWC faces is funding. So we're not funded by the government, and we really have quite a large budget of about $600,000 every year to support the demand for our services. So it's a lot of money to fundraise when you don't have any relied secure funding. It's a lot to nickel and dime, and we seriously do nickel and dime. We have donation boxes at booths and things like that. The favorite part of working for AIWC is knowing that we're helping wildlife in need and knowing that we're doing everything to make that possible. So, we put our own lives on hold, at some points to make that happen. We really do everything that we can for wildlife and care. That's why we do what we do, is to get these animals back out into the wild. So everything, whether it's fundraising or answering calls or cleaning up poop, it's all so that that animal can then go back into the wild.